Hi, welcome to this week's Statcast. Now, most of what I'm going to talk about today is last year, 2023. I'm going to show how it compares to other years for Exeter Chiefs. I'm also going to talk a bit about just what a bonkers year it was in terms of the scorelines. And I've also got some quickfire stats to throw in somewhere in the middle. So let's start talking about those premiership wins. Now, you can see from the chart that actually, in terms of premiership wins, just the raw number of premiership wins, it was a pretty disappointing year for Exeter Chiefs. In fact, it was their lowest number of premiership wins since 2014. They only won 12 games last year, which was one fewer than the year before. And this chart really does show that peak, what that peak era was. And I think you could be forgiven for thinking that the trend was downwards and that things were getting worse. Actually, it's worth remembering that 2023, like 2015 and 2019 on that chart, they're years where there was a World Cup, and that affects the number of Premiership games that are played at the start of the year, or the start of the season in that World Cup year, and so therefore there are fewer chances for them to win. So you can see also in those peak years, there's stuff going on. Well, 2017, to be fair, that thing that was going on was Chiefs' unbeaten run that went on pretty much from October till the Premiership final, where they drew a couple of games, but pretty much won every other game, took loads of bonus points. So that would explain why that number of wins is very, very high. Similarly, in 2021, there is a mitigating factor that was the COVID catch-up year. So there were far more games played than in a normal year. So the 20 wins, that is a lot of Premiership wins for a year. It may not be in percentage terms, and actually percentage terms is the right way to look at this, I think. So here's a chart, the same chart but for percentage terms. It's probably fairer. Takes out that World Cup year bias. And you can see the improvement actually in 2023 from 2022, where in 2022 Chiefs only won 50% of their Premiership games. That's gone up to over 60% last year, and you can see that peak in 2017. That run to the final, that unbeaten run, took the win rate above 80% for the calendar year, which is extraordinary, really. You can also see that period from 2017 to 2020, those 4 years all above 70% win rates, and actually 5 out of 6 of those years, if you include 2015, are above 70%. So it was only 2016 where there was the start of that season after the first playoff final when they lost. They got off to quite a bad start of the season before that epic unbeaten run. So maybe the best comparison with 2023 in terms of where this team is compared to the last great Exeter team is maybe 2015, where there's that similar win rate, and maybe we are on the cusp of another glorious era. It certainly feels like it could be possible. Now, I've got 5 quick stats for you just to up the pace a bit after me waffling on about some graphs. Friday night's game, the win at Ashton Gate, that's Chiefs' 10th win out of their last 11 visits to Ashton Gate. That's 7 Premiership games, where the defeat did come in the Premiership game, but that was only by 7 points, so there was still a losing bonus point. We've never left Ashton Gate empty-handed. Also 3 cup wins there, and the small matter of a Champions Cup final. So Ashton Gate actually is the ground with our best win rate. So that's 2 of your 5 stats, because the losing bonus point counts as a stat. That's now 4 wins on the trot for Chiefs as well. Now, in 2023, they never won 5 on the bounce. They got to 4. That's the 3rd time they got to 4 wins on the trot. It was always backed up by defeat. So let's hope that 2024 sees things get back on track on that front. And in fact, actually, the last 5-game winning run was right at the end of 2022. So who knows? This could be the turning point for that particular stat. January's always been quite a good month for Exeter. In fact, they've won 14 out of their last 16 home games in January. That dates all the way back to 2015. So that does suggest that there's a great run there. A lot of that will be predicated by the fact that we generally play European. We always play a European home game in January, and our record in those games has been excellent. And there's also a similarity with 2023. 2023 started the first weekend of January with a home game against Northampton. Just like 2024, if you've got a sense of deja vu again, that's entirely natural. let's hope that the game goes the same way last year's game did, with Exeter winning comfortably. Okay, and finally, I just thought I'd show you this margin chart. It basically shows what the margin of defeat or victory was for Exeter Chiefs for each of their games in 2023. I think it helps us to understand what an absolutely bonkers year it was. The margin actually was twice as variable as 2022. It's the most variable year since Chiefs got promoted to the Premiership for Premiership games. Only 2020 gets anywhere near, and that's because of the COVID catch-up. In that period in August, September, where they were playing twice a week. The year saw 10 20-point wins for Exeter Chiefs, 6 of which were by 30 points or more. And there was also, though, on the other hand, 7 away defeats by more than 15 points. So, again, there weren't many close games. This wasn't the close agony that 2022 was. So something I'm going to take as a positive is the way that the trend goes at the end of this chart, where it gets a lot saner towards the end of the year. It feels like at that point there's more control in those games. It's less volatile. And maybe that's just me looking at the undoubted positive, personal positive, that Chiefs finished by winning 6 out of 7 games at the end of the year. Just that defeat to Bath, which is the only one where it sort of goes against that trend. So maybe we are starting to see this Chiefs team mature, get more control of games, and who knows, 2024 could be another great year, and another great Exeter Chiefs era is probably starting. Thanks very much for watching. As always, if you could like or share this, tell your friends, tell anyone you know. I wouldn't recommend telling just random strangers on the street, although it will push up the views. So maybe try that this week. Feedback, always welcome. Always accept comments, questions, that sort of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. What did 2023 feel like for you as an Exeter Chiefs fan? Let me know. And thanks very much for watching. I'll probably see you next week. Bye.